Wow, all right. Yay!
That's very sweet. Very sweet. Okay, so we're going to do some questions amongst ourselves, and then we're going to have you ask some questions. So those of you that would have questions, line up over there, and then we can kind of bring you in up here. All right. So to start off with, I think your involvement, if I'm not mistaken, is you got the link there. Okay, great. So it starts with the time where Jack was in France.
I was just in London actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was in London visiting a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in quite a long time in his flat in the British Museum. The phone rang in his apartment and he picked it up and he said, "Oh, it's for you." And that was really unusual in those days. Obviously there was no mobiles, but quite how Bill Friedkin managed to find my friend's number, I don't think anybody knew I was visiting him. So anyway, so a lady on the phone said, "If you could be in this number in half an hour, Mr. William Friedkin would like to speak with you." And so I said, "Okay." So my friend had to go off and do some teaching, I think. And so I sort of waited in this room, and after half an hour the phone rings, and there's, on the end of the phone is Mr. William Friedkin, So we had a conversation for about an hour, I think. He was talking to me about this movie he was working on. Billy's very persuasive, and not that I needed much persuading, but he essentially, long story short, was that I think had tried somebody else for the score, but he was using Wait, which was a track from our previous album, Points on the Curve.
Right.
He was using that as a 10 track when he was watching the Rushes back daily, and he said, "I just need more music like that. That's exactly the vibe that I'm looking for. Are you guys willing to do it?" So I just said yes, without at all thinking what we were taking on. But yeah, that was how it all started. With this out of the blue phone call.
And you never saw any footage, which was
We never did, no.
fairly along the way.
Yeah. No, I talked to Nick about it. We booked a studio. I was working on a track that was kind of lightweight, so that was the starting point. But I remember the first day we rented a load of metal percussion and just sort of this was again in the days before sampling and stuff like that. But we sort of just made some noise and hit all this metal percussion, and then we started recording, and we had a week, literally, I think 6 days, something like that, to do the entire soundtrack. So we were just plowing through it, and after about 3 or 4 days, some FedEx package arrived with a bunch of VHS tapes, wasn't it? Okay.
So you actually
it's the 40th anniversary. And so we had a look at those, and I said, "I don't want to look at them, because I don't want to look at it and go like, oh, we're on the wrong track." But Nick had a look at it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're doing good."
So you actually had to spy it before you went and saw the film mixed in with the sound, which was the first time both of you had seen what he had done, even including the dance scene that you're featured in. Now, with that, did you have music playing? Do you recall if there was any music playing at the time?
Yeah, there was music.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, my mic.
Forgive me.
All right, yes, there was music playing, but I do not recall what it was.
Well, because it's not as good as the Wang Chung. Right down.
I would have remembered that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you saw the film all put together, what was your reaction when you saw how seamlessly it fused in?
Pretty mind-blowing. We went to Todd A.O., it was Friedkin's edit place in LA.
And that's where you shot the video, I believe, as well,
Yeah,
right?
it was, yeah. He directed our promo videos, which is pretty amazing. But, yeah, seeing that in that incredible sound environment, with our music and with Billy and everything, it's really absolutely amazing. We're totally inspired. It's a wonderful experience.
I remember at that point the movie, because he'd said in that conversation in London, the one thing I don't want from you guys is a song called "To Live and Die in LA." I want instrumental music. So we hadn't written a song at that point. We were, obedient. And I remember that rough cut of the film started with the image of the gun firing and then that incredible kind of sunset across LA. The orange thing and the palm trees in the wind. And that just blew my mind, actually, seeing that with the visual of the choir sort of like descending, And it was kind of, without giving you a spoiler, I'm sorry.
That was the smog.
That was the smog, yeah. In fact, Deborah, our percussionist, said that's kind of what LA looked like during the fires at the beginning of it. So, yeah. But anyway, that really stayed with me, that image, and that's how we open the show this evening. We start with the City of Angels kind of thing. That always struck me as the beginning of the movie.
And then, of course, the opening prologue was written after he heard the song that he did not want you to write.
That's right.
He told us, because we did a Q&A with Billy in London about in 2019, and he said that he'd actually shot that sequence with a motorcade because he loved the song so much. He actually shot some of the movie so he could give that song at home in the movie, which is kind of amazing.
And that really speaks to his propositorial part. I just learned that word yesterday. The way he wrote the film on the spot sometimes, and I'm sure you have many examples of that. The first one that comes to my mind is the end sequence when you drive away with Jane Leaves. And
That was not written.
yeah,
That
right,
was
right.
He just decided. Why don't we try one where you leave with Jane? And it was like, that would. Why not?
Yeah, and it changes the context entirely. Yeah, exactly. As my wife said, I love this film. He gets shot in the face, and then the lesbians win. That's how it always
That's Billy.
Yes, exactly. And so, of course, the visual style, as we've all love, and you mentioned it's impossible not to with the movie. One of the main people responsible for that is with us, and that's Amanda. I'm sorry, could we have mic number one up a little bit? Thank you very much. Pardon me, sorry.
I do not remember where that dance sequence, which you probably know better than I do.
Well, I didn't have much to do with that, but Cricket Nolan's decorated. She's extraordinary. She did a great job.
That was Cricket, what's Cricket's last name again?
Rollins.
Cricket Rollins, okay. So it was Set the Decorator?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did a lot of Rick Masters artwork.
No, I just did a couple of oil paintings that they could, special effects guys could burn, so they could see how they were going to burn it.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So you did the tests, or you did the one that's actually on
No, that's by
Ryan Fetty?
Yeah.
Okay, so so the one he burns at the beginning is one of the ones that would fetch a phenomenal sum these days. So did you do the Chinese character on the outside of
I did,
Masters?
yes.
Okay. I mean, a round of applause. For that. Is that not indelibly garnished for mine? And also, thank you very much.
Does it mean anything?
Hang on a second.
I don't know.
Chinese character, does that mean anything?
You know, we looked it up once before. Now, these guys know a lot about translating words from that language into another one, but it's about the film, right? So I think, well, let's see. But then you did some other set painting and everything. Do you remember any specific moments of either prettying something up or making something uglier for the shot?
Oh, a lot of making ugly, but
Well, you know, ugly in a
we
beautiful
did a lot
way.
of clean stuff, but yeah, I remember we had a workshop down in Village. It was so cold. We had signs for Moscow. My lecturer said I had to do all the signs for the Treasury building. And the lecturer said would not stick, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm trying everything. It's because it was too cold.
At least the cameras didn't freeze. What were the conditions in general like with you? I mean, obviously, working with Billy is the most important, but were you ever freezing on the set? I'm always curious about that. She mentioned. Yeah, Deborah, sorry.
Yeah, maybe when I wasn't dressed, I might have been.
Which was a fair bit of the film. A fair bit of the film, and again, a round of applause for that. Particularly the image that
But actually, I was extremely well taken care of.
Mhm.
I really was. I mean, the set was cleared of any unnecessary people. I mean, I felt very well taken care of by Billy Freakin.
Tell me a little bit more about the relationship with working with him, and also to start with that, were you hired directly by him after he saw you in the theater piece? With the,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a theater piece called Vesper's Eve, a character by the name of Ruby Diamond. And Billy Freakin and Willem came to see me in the piece, and I was kind of it.
And magic happens.
I came
Yes.
in for an interview, and there was chemistry between Willem and I, and that was like, that was it.
And I bet there was no line readings or script discussion or anything. I mean, or rather dialogue test, because it seems like that's in line with Friedkin's habit
No,
of.
you know, the interesting thing is, they didn't have me read. They
Yeah.
saw me in the theater piece. Willem and I talked, you know, Billy and I talked, you know, we just talked, and I think they just got a vibe, you know?
Well, that's in line
And
with
that's what
his.
they were really interested in, is there chemistry here?
Yeah.
And there was.
Right.
So that was it. I didn't read anything.
So
Very
again,
interesting.
like the end scene there, instinct plays a huge part in
Oh,
his
yeah.
entire filmography. Are there any other instances you can think of where that was like stronger than the script?
Well, I mean, you know, Billy had a really interesting way of working. He would ask Willem and I to just start improv. You know, just like start the scene. I'm not going to say action. I'm just going to start the camera when I'm ready.
Would this be the I-8 video stuff that you guys are shooting to watch
No,
later?
this
while
was,
you're-
this was
okay.
the film. And by the way, no, that was, I don't even remember that. I was in an altered state.
Do you have those tapes?
I love
I'm sorry.
Robbie Mueller.
Okay, yeah.
He's by far one of my favorite cinematographers, and I was so excited when I heard that he was going to be shooting the film.
Sure.
I mean, I was just like, he's brilliant, you know. He did all of Wim Wenders, you know, early black and white stuff. I mean,
In Paris, Texas, if anyone hasn't seen
Yeah.
that, watch that and read them and remember he shot all those three in 1 year. Sorry about
He
that.
did black and white, you know, his early stuff too.
Yeah, oh no, all
Alice
that.
in the
But in
City.
1 year, Living Down LA, Repo Man,
Oh, that's
and
right. Yeah.
you know Lorenzo Lamas film called Body Rock, but you don't need to see that. Well, it's true. Look, you know. So, please, was there a moment you can remember where Robbie particularly stood out in terms of the way, maybe a delicate shot or something that was
Oh,
tricky?
absolutely. Just like his level of sensitivity and intimacy. You know, that makes a huge difference, especially when there's a love scene.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to be able to feel private in public, you know.
Sure.
And Robbie was a big part of that, truly. Just, he was extremely sensitive with his crew, and Billy Friedkin followed suit, and that made him very, as comfortable as you can possibly.
With a few lights hanging around. Yeah, it seems like, again, instinct and everything, but vibes. As the kids would call it these days, but vibes, yeah, energy. And again, the same thing with you guys and your involvement.
Yeah. I found one thing when you're talking and just thinking about working with Billy, I remember being in his office one time. I forget why we were there, but we were talking, and he was in completely Bill Friedkin, sympathetic to the artist, making you feel good kind of mode, you know. And then some assistant of his came in and whispered something in his ear, and he said, "Excuse me." He picked up the phone, walked to the back of the room, and just yelled at this person on the phone, who I think was his divorce lawyer at the time. He came back to the desk, just put the phone down, sat down, and just carried on with the conversation exactly where he left off.
Now,
So-
of course, there's the legend of Hurricane Billy. And
Yes.
Bob Yeoman, who was going to be here tonight and sends his regrets, told me a great story about how on Rampage his mood was a little bit different, a little bit harsher. Did
Yeah,
you?
definitely. I heard stories like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and also, yeah.
Did you?
From some fellow actresses as well that said, watch out for Billy, he really goes for the truth, and he'll do anything to get it, you know, he'll.
I think there's another redhead who maybe didn't have the greatest time on a later film and no one enjoyed
I
it.
don't want to mention any names, but yes. So, but I had a very different experience. I don't know why.
Well, it seems like there was a general feeling of wellness on the set. There was a good vibe again going through it and everything going right. So did you witness any of that? I mean, of the explosiveness.
No, Willem shared a story with me.
Did you?
No, Willem shared a story, but I'll let Willem tell that story.
Oh, okay, all right.
The lawyer's office that he goes to and shoots him with balls. It was like, oh, what a grain. We just about finished him. The whole room being like a light colored wood grain, sort of classical craftsman style. And there was a sign saying there was going to be a computer here and a fax machine, but just like notes, and he just went nuts. And we had to like completely redo the whole set, turn it into the bedroom, which was like a dark greeny blue color, bronze looking walls. Over the weekend. That was one instance.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
I
very.
think he was very good with artists, actually, with actors, musicians. Yeah. But I remember when we were at Todd AO on that first occasion, and we watched the rough cut, and I think Billy left to do something, and Nick was talking to somebody, and I went up to the two guys who were mixing the sound, and went, yeah, you guys have done a great job, you know, and they went, yeah, Billy's a piece of work, right? And I said, he seems really lovely to us, and this guy looked at me.
Barbara Streisand is notorious. Some people say that she's a diva, others perfectionist. And she was doing the Broadway album video disc and laser disc, excuse me. And Friedkin did a lot of work on that, including an interview with her. And he was there doing color timing. And Mark Wheelodge, who worked in the same place, related a story to me about how they were having some kind of technical issue. And then they were in the room and it was fine. Something went wrong a second time and he absolutely lost his fucking mind. And so the scene was Barbara Streisand going, Billy, this is a cup of tea. Well, a cup of tea, and then that was it. But, yeah, and I think that Barbara Streisand was soothing him. Yes. So you work primarily with Willem, except for the scene with Waxman. Forgive me for not remembering his name. Max, that's his name, Max Waxman. Thank you. Yeah. So, do you have any memories about working with the other cast? Like Stockwell as well. Let's go. We know his name. So you work with Dean Stockwell.
Yeah, you know, I knew Dean Stockwell's work, so I was very excited to work with him as well.
Sure.
And it was, you know, I mean, even as snippet, you know, it was a moment, but I loved working with him. I mean, you know, when you work with that level of actor, and Willem too, and you know, that was in the beginning of Willem's career.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, I mean, he had a big theater background, and when you work with that level of an actor, it really enhances your performance, it really changes your performance. And, you know, and it's kind of, there are magical moments. And that was another scene that that Billy let us kind of improv into. And that was really, I mean, he really created an environment for the actor to flourish, you know? And you know, maybe one of the better directors that I ever worked with, for sure.
Yeah, and I remember you saying when we were arranging this that it was probably your favorite film that you were in.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
And you do a lot of theater, and I think it's interesting that most of the folks in the leads were all theater actors. William Peterson, John Pankow.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was their first films. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as you mentioned, Friedkin, a man of the arts,
Yes.
he was deeply invested and knowledgeable about all aspects of art.
No, absolutely. He talked to me quite a lot about living with Harold Pinter and Antonia Fraser when he was filming The Birthday Party. And I was very fortunate to go with him to Turin to a big movie festival they had there. This was back in like 2002 or 3, I think. And they were in Turin, they were doing a retrospective of all his films. And some students had assembled his interview with Fritz Lang. And that was the first time that had been showed in its totality. And so again, Billy was like an ideal person to interview Fritz Lang in a way. He was like quite an old man at that point, you know, eye patch and full of these incredible stories about being asked by Goebbels to be head of the cinema for the Nazis, at which point he came to Hollywood.
There's a touch of that sort of an Inglourious Basterds as well.
Yes.
And I think Friedkin is one of the few guys that could sort of level up with those kind of guys with his sport.
I think so.
Right, and also he was very involved with the soundtrack, right? You only really dealt with him, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And that was the great thing working with Billy. You worked with him and him only, and he made all the decisions, you know. My subsequent involvement, maybe very minor, working on the sound to other movies, soundtrack to other movies, a couple of television things, and it was just so whimsical, the whole way that people operated, and they really didn't know what they wanted, and you know, it was just, well, I just it wasn't the world I wanted to be in, you know. But for us, you know, he chose us because he particularly liked what we did, and so we did what we did, and he liked it. You know, it was very simple.
Yeah, he heard Wait on the radio.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I think he bought the album.
Well, I think he did,
now,
of course.
or maybe subsequently.
Yeah. Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, what was it like for you, Deborah, when you first saw the film completed with their music? Because again, they shot it without.
Oh my God! It's like it's so dynamic. You know, the music is like a character in the movie. It really is like a character. I mean, I can't even imagine, especially that opening. You know, that we were just talking about. I mean, I can't even imagine a movie without that music.
Right, and the first 20 minutes is almost what they say, pure cinema.
Yeah.
There's almost no dialogue. Everything is communicated through visual and sound.
Yeah, I mean, that's my style of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So.
Even if you couldn't speak the language, I think people could intuit what was going on with all of that, because the dialogue's kind of minimal. Now, how did you find, or what are your thoughts about the overall visual style? Because of course that is your.
I was stunned. I absolutely love the music. Made the film with it. It was just funny.
And so some of the other recreations of paintings, that's where you focused on that as well?
Well, the scene with the Chinese.
The symbol, and then.
That was the factory that the printing had a printing.
Oh yeah, so wait, the printing press stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about doing the printing
Wasn't the
press.
one where he's out in the desert?
Yeah.
They had a warehouse. It was the one downtown. And
Oh,
had all the printing machines and stuff. And the flames he had set up was like a gas jets.
yes.
That was not enough for him. And he freaked out, fired the guys, and in a whole flame effect, which they really did.
Well, they went the flames up there. And Robert Yeaman, by the way, my podcast, Breaking Friends, follow it when you go home, because soon it's going to be a multi-part Live and Die in LA movie club, and there's a story that Bob Yeaman told about the fire scene. First off, it's Buddy Joe Hooker in the suit, and they only had about 30 seconds to get that shot. And right before he's supposed to come out, the smoke from that incredible new arsenal fire that he brought in, it suddenly got too much, clouded everything, and so in the heat of the moment, Robbie Mueller had to rush over to Bob Yeaman and go, turn it up, whatever the F-stop was. So that was a split-second decision on Mueller's part. He clearly did this. And we're about to go to the audience. Now, is anyone lined up over there as we wanted to? Okay, first person in line, come on up. Sir, I don't have any theme music for you.
Hello. Okay.
Thank you, Phyllis. Lovely, Phyllis.
All right. Hey, guys. Given that you had such a short time to compose this, I'm sure that's a lot of pressure. And Friedkin said he loved your music because it was dynamic and had a lot of layers. What influences, if any, did you pull upon in that short time?
Good question.
Ourselves. Well, because he loved that
Hey,
some
next.
weight.
Anybody else got a question here? Come on over here. Watch your tripod.
Hey, your mic.
Watch the camera. There you go. You got it.
They only listen to their own music, by the way. They try not to tell people that. Oh, I like jazz, Jack. That's not true.
No, I was thinking about compiling the music, because we had a week to do it, but we were coming off the back of Points on the Curve. We'd been in the studio working on some other tracks, but we didn't really have a lot of material, So we were literally composing the stuff as we recorded it, really, And it got to a point where I was thinking, well, we've only got about sort of half an hour's worth of music here, so I thought, well, there's this piano piece that I got, So we recorded the piano piece. That became The Great Stair, and there was a couple other things where it was just like, well, let's pull this in, from the others. So we gave as much as we had, but we definitely had to pull things out of the bag,
I think it speaks again to the sort of universal harmony that was going on with the entire project. And also, folks, look out in the future. There might be some kind of release from these guys that has more of this kind of stuff. I'm not sure, I can't say specifics, but it's coming now. Who's the next person with a question? Please, come on in.
Thank you, Jack, and for being here and for writing the song To Live and Die in LA. And it's such an emotional, beautiful song. It makes me cry every time I hear it. The lyrics, I'm wondering if you were inspired by the movie that you watched before, or did you write the lyrics, especially the line where you're saying it makes me quiver to keep falling down, 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 down. Is that from the bass jumping? Was that inspired by that or something else?
Yeah, the song was very much a response to the film, but not incredibly logical response, you know. And it was only later when somebody said to me, I love Deliver Diana Lane because you write it from the girl's point of view, you know.
Ruthie,
Ruthie's girlfriend. And that hadn't occurred to me at the time, but I get that I was doing that, you know. So, you know, I think we were responding intuitively all the time, really intuitively to sort of know what we really wanted in the first instance, and intuitively to feel, well, it needs the song, you know, it needs the soundtrack needs the song, the movie needs the song in a way, you know. So I'm glad that we sort of stuck with that, you know.
And next question.
This is a question for Nick and Jack. If you could both answer, I'd appreciate it.
At the same time? They can do that.
Did you ever watch a film and think, oh man, I would have really loved to have created the soundtrack to that film, or to have worked with that director?
You said that when we watched Sorcerer together, and I was like, you did already. Please go ahead.
Yes is the answer. I'm trying to think of some examples.
Star Wars.
Okay, who's up next? Oh, we're done with questions? Okay, great.
Okay,
Right. Sure. Sure. Okay, we're gonna wrap up now. We'd like to thank each and every one of you individually and as a team. All right. Pictures on the wall, I'd like to thank every single one of the big ones on the staff here. So thank you very much, Deborah and Jack and I guess that's all for now. So
thank you, Craig, as well. Craig stepped in a very short notice.
All right, everybody, listen. We have 10 minutes to get you photos. So if you want to get a photo, I only have 10 minutes. So I know you want to tell your stories and all that. This is not the night. Line